Hey there. Today we are going to install pipeline as code with the Bootstrap method. I'll make a demo of how it works and how easy to get started with pipeline as code. So I assume that you know what pipeline as code is. What a pipeline code is what we did is to be able to have a pipeline as code flow directly using Tekton and well integrated with all the web CI, web Git platform like GitHub, Bitbucket and everything. It supports different features to make it a bit easier to use Tekton and to get started with it. So let's start. So I have done a script document that would show all the steps that I'll be doing in this video, and you can follow through. It will be in the comments of this. It will be added to the comments of this video, and yeah, you can just do it yourself. But you'll see how it is, how it's going to be. So first of all, for preparation of this video, I created a sample repo. That's a sample repository with a small Golang app. That Golang app has some kind of code that I need to validate, to lint, and I'll be using pipeline as code for that. And we'll show you how to use it, or to use pipeline as code with it. I have installed the Kind, which is a small Kubernetes cluster. Pipeline as code works on any Kubernetes platform. It's been tuned for OpenShift pipeline as well, so it uses the features in there. But if you have just a Kubernetes cluster with the Tekton dashboard and Tekton Pipeline installed, then you should be good to go, which is what I've installed here. And I have installed as well an ingress, which is to point into dashboard, so I can easily access it from my laptop. And last but not least, I have installed the CLI. It has different methods for your architecture that you want to install, like on the release page, or via Homebrew, or Go directly, or Arch, or via the container. So I'll let you install this, and we can start. So let's start to do TKN, to do the bootstrapping process. So the bootstrapping process is inside the TKN pack command plugin, and it allows you to do the whole install on your cluster of pipeline as code. So it's going to start to install the latest version of pipeline as code. It's going to ask you if you want to deploy a service to forward the webhook to the local kind. So the thing is that we need to be able to give access to the pipeline as code controller to GitHub. But when you are running on a laptop or behind a firewall, like I am right now, I need to be able to forward those access. So we have a small service that's using smee.io to be able to forward those, just to make it a bit easier, and so you don't have to do a lot of pre-setup. And it's going to create the GitHub application, and with all the pack settings that you can, and you'll be able to create the GitHub application on github.com, and it would just create everything automatically. And it's going to configure the pack secrets, and that's it. So let's get started and let you show how easy it's going to be. So I'm going to use the TKN pack bootstrap. I need to make sure I'm connected to my cluster, and I'm starting. So pipeline as code sees that you didn't have any install of pipeline as code. I mean TKN pack bootstrap. So it asks you to install it and basically apply the release.yaml onto your own cluster. It asks you if you want to install a webhook forwarder, as explained before, which is called gosmee. It's a project I wrote, and and if you want like to automatically install it. So we are installing it. It's done. It created like a new random URL that you're going to use for webhook forwarding, but you don't need to be aware of that. It's just like for information, and you're not going to actually need to access it. It detected like there is a Tekton dashboard install on this URL. So it detected that the ingress I have installed previously, and ask if you want to use it. So we use it, and then you need to choose your GitHub application name. It's something that it needs to be, I don't think it's something that you can change on GitHub, so probably you want to have a proper name. But I'm going to do like a random name, and going to start it. So whenever I pressed the enter, it's opening my web browser and give me one little button that I need to click to be able like to go to the github.com setting manifest, which is like creating a GitHub app and that you created GitHub. So you just need to confirm that you want to create a demo, the name, and then you can click on it, and whenever it's done, it's going to go back to your web browser and ask you to go back here. And when you come back on your console, you'll see that it created like a new GitHub secret, which is doing like the credential of the GitHub application, the private key and things like that, and web forwarding, and gives you the URL of your application. So first, like we're going to see what the Tekton Pack Bootstrap created. We can go to the app settings. You'll see the name, so you can configure all of that if you want. If you want to show something else, it created the web URL. It's like the random URL I was telling you about before. That goes to the gosmee.io web service, and you can customize other things like the logo and all that stuff. You'll see like all the permission that needs to be done, or you would have to do all those things manually. It's all filled up and it's all ready to go. There's documentation on GitHub on how to configure your web, how to customize your web app, your GitHub app, and if you want it. So let's go back to our console. What I'm going to do is first I'm going to add my newly GitHub application to my demo repository. So that's a normal OAuth thing. So I'm going to only select a few repo. I'm going to select pack demo, and I'm going to install it. So now my GitHub app is going to handle the events that's happening on my demo app. So that's all installed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check out my demo repo, and next I'm going to I'm going to create a new repository CRD with the Tekton Pack create repo command. So let me go there, and I'm going to run Tekton Pack repo. What this command does is to be able to create a new CRD on your cluster that's going to say that this repo URL, so github.com shmuel pack demo, is going to be handled by pipeline as code, and it's going to be tested to .namespace. So it just have one spec, the URL, and it means like you would have access to it, and all the pipeline are going to be tested on that namespace. So let me create the repo. When you create from inside the repo, it automatically detects a few things like the URL here, which I can do just enter. It pre-filled up like it asks you like if you want to enter the namespace where you want the pipeline that's going to run. So I'm going to use this wave offer, and I'm going to create it because it wasn't there. So now that you have created the pipeline, you are going to see you are going to be able to see that that it created like a sample pipeline run onto your repo here. So if I do git status, it created like a Tekton directory with a pipeline run YAML inside it. It as well detected that it is a Golang repository, and it's going to make the pipeline run and all the things on Golang repository. So let's have a look quickly at the pipeline run it generated. It's just a simple pipeline run. Like on the pipeline as code, most of the things are configured by the annotations that's happening on the pipeline run directly. Some of the annotations have some meanings. So those, I mean, all of them have meanings, but in this case, like have different meanings. So here's like you have what we call the event matching. So we want to be able to express that whenever there's a pull request or a push, like on like an event being a push or a pull request, and those push or pull request target main as the target. So on a pull request, it's a pull request against main, or the push is happening on main. But you can have like different format for that. You can have like tags or matching tags for release, for example, and things like that. Then whenever it matches, then this pipeline run pack demo is going to be run. So that's how you can have like multiple pipeline runs on your Tekton directory, matching different rules, like for release, for testing branch and things like that, and yeah, you can have multiple pipeline matching the same events. Then you're going to have multiple pipeline running on every pull request, for example here, or push, and it would show in the GitHub UI. So you get a few other things that to make it easier to use pipeline runs. It's what we call remote annotation. So you are able to say that I want to grab the git clone task from the hub and the Golang CI lint task here from the hub, and I want to automatically add it inside my pipeline run. So what we do is like whenever it sees a task ref name, it doesn't need to be installed locally on your namespace. It would automatically grab it from the hub and embed it inside your pipeline run. It's a bit technical, but it doesn't. It's not. You basically need to have these annotations and references here, and you'll be able to use it without doing any other prior installation. You get there's other things like how many runs you want to keep attached. So we are able to do cleanups easily on pipeline as code. So you are able to say like how many runs I want to keep before cleaning up. And one other thing that's specific to pipeline as code is those variables like between brackets. That's mostly specific on pipeline as code. All those variables are going to be replaced by the content of the payload. So in this case of the revision, it's the SHA of where your pipeline run or your push commit is gone, and the repo URL is going to be repository URL. So all those variables can be anywhere inside your template, and it will be expanded. One other thing that makes it very easy is when you have private repos, it's going to inject the secret. It's going to inject a secret. It's going to automatically create a secret on the cluster, so you can use the token from where the repo come from. So basically, it would allow you to check out private repositories without having to do any setups or creating a new token or something like that. It's going to just use the GitHub application token there. So that's a bit. There is much more stuff and things. I encourage you to go to the pipeline as code Pipeline as code documentations, and to see how the resolver works and all the format that you can have. You can have like different URLs and things like that, and how everything works. Or you can have a task inside the same repo. So yeah, that's done. There is one thing I forgot before running the Bootstrap, which I can do that now. I wanted like to enable some experimental features, so I can show it to you. I'm going to need to configure the config map, and I'm going to delete the code. I'm going to restart the pod. Yeah. So let's go back here. While it's done, I have created. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a branch in my repo, and I'm going to add my file, and I'm going to say, no, it's not buggy. This is pipeline as code CI, and yep. So now it's like I have it in there. I think I'm waiting. Yeah, it's all restarted, so it's good. So let's go back to my repo. So my pack demo has this new pipeline run. It didn't have any pipeline run before. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to push it to my origin to be able to create a pull request. Here we go. So we pushed it, and now it's like we can create a pull request, pretty standard things. And this is pipeline as code CI, yeah, and that's it. So now, like whenever we created the pipeline, the pull request, you'll see straight away like it's the GitHub application saw that and automatically started the pipeline run that you had set up. So if you go to the checks API here, to the checks tab, sorry, and you'll see like it tells you like you can watch the executions. You can watch the execution by going there, or if you wanted, you can go to the dashboard and look at the logs directly. So all that stuff you can follow in there. So it just executed our pipeline run, a sample pipeline run that's been defined, which is running the Golang CI. So it should fail because I made it to fail because some of the code there is like it's a bit not conform to the Golang CI linter, and I'll show you how to iterate from there. So you get so let's see, it's coming. Yeah, I think it takes a bit to get the image on my local cluster, but it should come super soon. Let's go back to the installation part. Yeah, the usage guide on the pipeline as code documentations give you all the overview of how the repo CRD looks like. So as I said before, like it's a very simple CRD with just like the spec URL. You can have more things into it as well if you wanted, and you can target different stuff, or even like specify the concurrency limit on that repo CRD. So we do support that kind of thing. So let's come back to our pipeline, to our pull request that is just has failed. So you see it gives you a breakdown of all the things that are happening. So this one succeeded, which is the Git class, and this one has failed. And you have direct link to the dashboard URL. It gives you a snippet of the last lines that has failed on the task. And since you enabled that feature I was telling you about before, it's able like to read the content of the task of the container logs and detect the errors in there and show it on the GitHub annotation UI. So you see like here's like that code. No, I need to click. Sorry, I need to click here. Where I need to click. Here we go. It's a bit better. So you get yeah, you get the errors in there. It's like tell you that the main.go has some issues and that you will need to fix it. So normally I should get, but I don't think it works here. Okay, but yeah, no, it's because the content of the main.go is not part of the pull request. Anyway, you have like all the error that's coming from the logs of the container, which is here, and show you in a breakdown of the GitHub checks. So now that we have this error, we want to fix it. So we're going to edit the main.go, and I'm going to copy it some proper code in there, which I have. I just need to copy and paste. Here we go, and yeah. So now like we should not have any errors. So I'm going to add it, fix the linter, and I'm going to push it. And that's it. Since we pushed, we can go back to our conversations here, and you'll see like it's a new CHA. Pipeline as code has started again. We can do a ls of the pack demo pipeline. You'll see it's running. You can click on it as well. We made that feature. Oh no, it's not configured. Oh yeah, please. And yeah, it doesn't on the CLI. And yeah, you all see the descriptions of the pipeline as run, and yeah, all it's running. So currently it's like the pipeline as code, pipeline run, it's like run it, and it was successful. You can see it on the GitHub UI, that it has been validated now. When I go there, so the new iterations took into effect, and now it's like it's all properly tested. So there's a few other things that there's a few other things that you can do with pipeline as code. Is that if, for example, this PR was successful, and you want to be able to it wasn't successful, but it was like an error that's happening on the cluster, that's a failure, that's a strong failure, you can use /retest, which is what we call the GitOps command, which is the same as what we had on Pro, and you're able to restart the pipeline automatically. Same goes like for other things like /OK to test. So /OK to test on pipeline as code, we try to make sure that nobody who doesn't have right access on the repository to not be able to run the PR. So only the allowed user is able to run a PR on the cluster. And if someone else, a contributor that doesn't have access, but we want to test the PR, that we just do /OK to test. Or we can retest specifics pipeline as well if you have like multiple pipeline, and there's a few other things like that. It's all documented in pipeline as code documentations in there. So that's mostly it for us. These other things that we can talk about, I can just mention quickly that we like I show you GitHub apps, which is the preferred way to run pipeline as code, because it has like the API has more features basically. But we do support GitLab and Bitbucket, and we even support GitHub via webhooks. So if you're not able to create an app on your organization, or yeah, you can run it like that, and you can even install the GitHub apps on your whole organizations automatically without adding like each specific repositories, and it would automatically handle like all the CI happening on the organizations. We have concurrency, as I said before, and Tekton Pack CLI has multiple features to make it easy to use, which is like to describe and to see the different errors and stuff. For example, with I can describe like other runs that's happening, and it can show me is like the the error and the content of the errors in there. It's like it does have some heuristics to be able to detect the right error. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening, and feel free to try Pipeline as code and let us know how it goes.